Hello and welcome to the first episode of Rant, Why Don't You? With myself, Nathan.
Myself, Pax.
Myself, Josh.
Myself missed.
Myself, Anya.
Breffney and Charlotte, they couldn't make it today due to illness, but we'll have to make do, and we're going to change things up a bit.
For today's episode, we're going to be doing this or that movies. We're going to be doing a gauntlet style, so we're going to be doing 16 movies, 8 on each side, 2 movies against each other. The winner of each bracket goes through to the next round, and to start us off, we have
To start us off, we've got Shawshank Redemption and Forrest Gump. So, Nathan, do you want to go first? What one do you think and why?
So for me, this is an easy one, and it would be Shawshank Redemption.
Easy. Really.
In terms of being a movie, not only is it better, in every aspect, Shawshank Redemption is better, as well as that I personally believe that Forrest Gump is one of the most overrated movies of all time.
I highly disagree with that. 100%. I definitely disagree. First of all, Forrest Gump made 678.2 million at the box office, and Tom Hanks is a very, very good actor, and he definitely made that movie a lot better.
I wouldn't say he's a very, very good actor. I'd say he's quite a mediocre actor, if I'm being honest with you. But what's your opinion then on it, Pax?
Well, I think Forrest Gump had a very compelling story. Again, Tom Hanks, very good actor. It made more money at the box office. A good ending. It shows the struggles that he gone through, having a disability and still able to be a hero in his own story.
Yeah.
And again, then losing Jenny in the end, which I feel like was very heartbreaking for him. So
Yeah.
to be honest, for a compelling story, I feel like Forrest Gump definitely goes through. But yeah. Anyone else
I'll
have any?
let the crowd decide.
So, Josh, what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not a fan of either movies. Not that the movies aren't good movies; they're good in their own right, but they're not my kind of movies that I'd watch normally. To be honest, I'd lean towards Shawshank Redemption. Sorry, Pax, because I never really got into watching Forrest Gump. Not that it's like something you'd watch the whole time, but every time I've tried to watch it, I haven't been able to watch the movie. That's genuine fact.
I feel like we're learning things about each other today.
Yeah, I've gotten up to the part where he's on the shrimp boat, and I've stopped watching. Like
Shrimp boat.
Titular shrimp boats.
But I have watched Shawshank Redemption a fair few times and finished it, so I can't say I would lean towards Shawshank
Yeah,
Redemption.
because you stopped on bubblegum shrimp.
Yeah, well, if it was a good movie, I would have continued watching it.
All right, Mist.
See, I I definitely have similar opinions to Josh. In the fact that unfortunately, I don't really like either movie. They're not really for me. And I've never actually finished either of them. I've watched like half of each. But again, similarly to Josh, I think I was more attracted towards Shawshank Redemption, just from its overall like style.
Yeah.
But I don't really have much to say about it. Yeah, I can't really comment on it. But sorry, Pax.
Just for a wee reference from earlier on, I did mention how much Forrest Gump made at the box office, but just for context, Shawshank Redemption made 73.3 million.
In comparison to 678.2.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's a good thing I didn't waste my money on Forrest Gump.
It's a good thing that the one that made less is a better movie. It's strange. Right, Anya, what do you think?
I like both of the movies. I love the historical references in Forrest Gump, like when with was it table tennis or ping pong champion? It was the first
Ping pong.
time America was allowed back, or was the first time they were in China, or was it Japan? I can't remember. Because I've seen the movie only a few years ago, but I have to say Shawshank, for me, is a better movie. The storyline, the plot line, the friendship, the twists, just how the one scene that got me was the little hammer that he used to escape was in the Bible, and earlier in the movie, the warden holds up the Bible not knowing it was inside until when he's about to get arrested for basically tax fraud, he finds out that he could have prevented it if he just opened up the Bible.
Okay,
You know
I'll
your
admit.
stuff. You know your stuff.
Yeah,
I
was-
love the movie.
I'll admit, there was some cool little details in Shawshank Redemption. So, but again, anyone that agrees or disagrees, you can let us know. So next up, Shawshank Redemption has gone through.
Next up we have The Dark Knight or Spider-Man 2. So, here we go, Pax.
If just in case anyone doesn't understand the context, I said that Batman sucks, and Nathan has decided that that is a very wrong opinion, and
It
I
is
know
a very wrong
We're
opinion.
getting into it.
Batman sucks.
Right. So,
I hope for the audio listeners that you can hear when the punches land.
yeah. So, one will be landing in a few minutes. So, this is a good one, to be fair, Pax. This is a good one, you know? As much as I love Batman,
And just remember,
Spider-Man 2 isn't Sam Raimi's best Spider-Man movie, because that is Spider-Man 3.
okay, I like Spider-Man 3, but even though it's not on this list, Spider-Man 3 compared to Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2 is in there because it clearly is the best one of the trilogy.
Yeah.
And that's not even Venom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Venom is that does not I do not count that as Venom number 3. But
Yeah.
again, we're talking about number 2. So maybe of course we're going off
Well, realistically, it'd have to go to The Dark Knight. Simply, I really do not like Christopher Nolan's Batman movies. I'm not a fan of Batman Begins. I liked Dark Knight Rises, but The Dark Knight as a film was significantly more impactful culturally to superhero movies.
Batman's not a superhero,
Yes, he is.
more like a vigilante, but anyway.
He is a superhero. So, and Heath Ledger's Joker, come on.
Hey, I got that here, okay? That's exactly why
Come
that I think
on.
that's what made that movie. If Heath Ledger didn't play Joker, that movie was a lot of trash.
So that's exactly why The Dark Knight Rises is a better film.
No, 'cause
And
that's-
why it's going through.
No, because I know we're going off on a tangent here, but if you're thinking about it, Spider-Man No Way Home, that's like saying that without Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, that it would have been a trash movie. And yes, that is the exact same thing applied to The Dark Knight. Without Heath Ledger's Joker, because then it was the best Joker, the movie's trash.
Okay, I respect your opinion, but no, I'll say if it was The Amazing Spider-Man 2 or The Amazing Spider-Man 1, that would have completely blown The Dark Knight out of the park. But because it's Spider-Man 2, great movie, fantastic movie, not the best out of the trilogy, but it's just not The Dark Knight. It's just not The Dark Knight. So I'm guessing I know what your opinion on this is, Pax.
I am a massive fan of Batman. Like, huge fan of Batman. Like,
You are allowed wrong opinions, you know.
No, let me finish. Batman is by far, I think, the best superhero. Because if you're going to say Batman, if you're going to say
The best
Batman's,
superhero.
yeah, if you're going to say
Here we go.
Batman is a vigilante, then Spider-Man's vigilante.
In what way?
In the same way that Batman is. Batman's hated by the local Gotham police. Spider-Man's hated by the Manhattan.
Yeah.
By the Manhattan police. Literally, what's the man that owns the newspaper?
J. Jonah Jameson.
He calls him a menace. If that's not what vigilante is, then I don't know what it is. So I think,
so
I think
we're
that
going off
refutes that.
we're going off a news
But-
reporter. By the way, the news reporters get it
But-
wrong.
No, but I will say, if it wasn't for the Joker, that Batman movie would suck.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
That's why I have to lean towards Spider-Man 2.
Oh.
Because I think as a Spider-Man movie, it's far better than The Dark Knight is a Batman movie. And
Fair enough.
that's why I lean towards Spider-Man 2.
Fair enough.
Even though it's not the best, like the Sam Raimi trilogy, Spider-Man trilogy, is my favourite superhero trilogy of all time.
Damn.
And I'd say Spider-Man 1 is better than Spider-Man 2.
You know, there might be a turnaround for Josh
Fair
after
enough,
all.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Might be a turnaround for him. Still hope.
Controversial, but
That is a bit controversial.
I wouldn't call that controversial, but anyway.
Missed?
See, again, not the most interesting answer for this one, but I think In terms of the two, I would definitely usually be more of a Marvel fan, but out of the two, it is extremely basic, but I fucking love Heath Ledger's performance in
Yeah.
the movie. I think it carried it, to be
100%.
honest.
You can't argue with that.
Yeah,
like,
so
it's-
it's genuinely.
You
like-
can't argue with it, but if you think Marvel, who's the first person you think of? Spider-Man. I don't know if you disagree with that, but I definitely think as
I
soon as you
would
hear Marvel, you
disagree
think
with it.
Spider-Man.
I think
I-
Iron Man or Captain
yeah,
America would be
no.
the first thing that would come to my mind.
I would
Fair
agree
enough.
with Pax.
I-
When I think of Marvel, I think of Spider-Man. When I think of
Yeah.
DC, Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Am I wrong, or was Spider-Man literally like the first Marvel hero?
He was.
Could be wrong.
No.
No.
Did
No.
he belong to Sony? No.
No.
He was sold to Sony later on.
Yeah,
Spider-Man was made in, I think it was 1963 or 1970 something.
Spider-Man was very late.
Oh, or was it 1930?
Fact check.
Might have been the 40s. I think.
Working on it.
Oh, I have it written. Hold on, I have it written down.
Human Torch was the first
Yeah,
Marvel.
yeah.
Was the first Marvel character was the Human Torch.
1962 was the first Spider-Man movie. Of comic book, sorry.
Comic, yeah.
Yeah, in August of 1962, Spider-Man was made. So he's not the first. But you know who was the first superhero ever?
I'm pretty sure you're going to enlighten me.
It's not Batman. Alright, so
Is it Superman?
it's Superman.
It's
Yeah.
Superman,
Okay.
yeah.
So missed your choice.
My choice would be
The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay.
Anya?
It's been a while since I have seen both of the movies, but I remember I did not sit through the whole Dark Knight movie. I couldn't sit through it. It was just something that if I can't get interested in a movie in the first 10-15 minutes, I won't watch it. Though I did sit through the whole Spider-Man 2, though it isn't my favourite Spider-Man movie. But again, Heath Ledger.
Again, comes back to Heath Ledger.
Amazing performance. I have to say, amazing performance from Heath Ledger. And I do love the Batman movies as well. It's The Dark Knight was the only one I could not get into, was the only movie.
Yeah.
But I do have to say I have to go with The Dark Knight.
Yes! Come on! Censor. You Pax. Censor. You Josh. Censor.
Bleep bleep.
Alright.
Sorry for the language.
So the next two films up are Jurassic Park, the first one, and Back to the Future 2. I'm not a fan of Back to the Future franchise. I can't get into it. It's more my personal preference when it comes to movies.
It's more of a trilogy than a franchise, but anyway, go on.
Okay.
What's the
Anything
difference?
else to add? No?
No,
Okay.
go ahead.
Sorry, side
Um,
question. What is the difference between a franchise and a trilogy? Does a trilogy not fit into a franchise?
I mean, yeah. No one asked you, Josh.
Exactly.
Okay, no one asked you.
Sorry,
Um,
Anya, go ahead.
I do like Jurassic Park because it just reminds me of when my cousin got the DVD, and every few days after school we'd go to his house, do our homework, have the DVD of a movie we want to watch, and like my mom coming to collect me, and basically me and my cousin just asking for 5 more minutes to finish the movie. Or it was just one of the movies that I remember both of us enjoying so much, and it's probably gave me my taste in films and my love for films as well, and just even like the dinosaurs and everything and how well they were for the time. I have to go Jurassic Park.
It was very good CGI in that, to be fair.
Mist, what about you?
See, it is definitely a really difficult choice because it's picking two films that I hold really, really dearly to my heart. But to be honest, I think it's an easy win for me with Jurassic Park, mainly because I'm really, really in love with practical effects and physical props and puppetry. And there's a lot of that on show in Jurassic Park with the puppets, the animatronics, and all the practical sets. Anyway, so honestly, that would be the biggest driver for me. Even though, again, Back to the Future is amazing. I love the score, the acting, the plot in itself is honestly really, really, really good. I do just think for the practical sets and designs and
Yeah.
stuff, that's kind of like where I would, that's where I would put it. So I think, yeah, I would pick Jurassic Park over Back to the Future. I would choose Pax to talk now, sir.
Well, listen, I know I've sounded like a massive villain through this whole episode, but
Two questions in and
well, I think me pretty much saying Batman sucks was a big villain
it's
story there.
untrue.
You pissed a lot of people off.
It's yes, but anyway, I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for that one. But
Justifiably so.
but if it comes down to Jurassic Park or Back to the Future, I'm not even going to argue on this one because, to be honest, again, I'm going to say the same point from earlier. Jurassic Park, I think, is a great, compelling story. It's really good. Again, when I said earlier on, the CGI for that movie for its time was really good. And as for Back to the Future, obviously, I am going to go with Back to the Future though because I am a big time travel fan. Like movies about time travel, I love it, and I always think to myself, what if this was actually real? And you just like the whole story of Back to the Future. I think it's like a perfect trilogy as well. I know we're on about the first one here, but I do think it's a perfect trilogy in my opinion. And the fact that the directors and producers and all, they were saying how they don't want to make a fourth one because they're so happy with the work they've done and the fan base that's behind Back to the Future, so they didn't want to make another one.
Yeah.
I'm glad they decided not to go off money and not make another one. I'm very, very happy with that. So that's why,
Unlike Marvel.
unlike Marvel at times,
Uh-huh.
So, and again, I think even if you look at Jurassic Park and then you look Back to the Future, immediately you think in your head, both of the movies make you think, what if this was possible or real? Like, what if you were able to resurrect dinosaurs and have them in the way they were in the movie?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. And what was it, like an island? Like an
Yeah.
island
Yeah,
itself.
yeah, yeah.
I think the island was pretty cool. And then again, with time travel, I'm pretty sure everyone at some point says, like, what if this was real? Like, what if there was something you could go back and change or
Yeah.
modify? Or what was it like living in the 50s and so like that. So again, Back to the Future gets my vote, but I'm not taking anything away from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Nathan, what do you think?
Right, so everyone so far has made genuinely fantastic points, and everything I wanted to say has been said. Like, Back to the Future is a fantastic franchise. I've watched both the first and the second one thousands of times since I was a little kid. You know what I mean? My dad had the CDs, and we'd watch it, and I love those movies a lot. But Mist made a fantastic point. I was originally gonna say Back to the Future, but Mist saying about the practical effects in Jurassic Park really turned me over, because I love practical. There's nothing better in a movie than practical effects. Like, if I was to be making something, I would go out my way to use practical effects rather than CG. It just looks so much better, and it's much more fun of a. So you bringing that point up really did turn me up to onto Jurassic Park. So I'll have to say Jurassic Park. And finally,
Persuasion.
Mr. Tua.
Mr. Tua. Yeah, well, obviously my vote doesn't matter now because it's already gone 3 towards Jurassic Park. But if the vote had been going, I would have been siding with PAX. I think, just for me, nostalgic wise, I have so much more. Like Anya said, her nostalgia for Jurassic Park. I have the same nostalgia, but for Back to the Future too. And when you say effects, like Back to the Future has nothing on Jurassic Park for its effects and stuff. But one thing that I think is just so cool, and I don't know if like many people would think about it, is how they shot the hoverboard. Having the birds on the side of the board and having I just think that alone is just so cool.
It is.
It just sums up Back to the Future, the trilogy. I think it just sums it up. It's just such a cool concept. And the movie is like produced so well. Back to the Future 3, not a fan of. Don't like it.
That's fair.
They were building into that though. They were, because you could I can't remember. I think it could have been the second one. It was the second one where Doc said that he's always wanted to go to the Wild West. It's a shame he'll never see it because he was going to destroy the time machine. So I believe that was them hinting they were always going to go with the Wild West number 3. And again, I know we're talking about the first Back to the Future here, but it's actually good. And sorry, Nathan's actually holding up 2 fingers to me here. So Back to the Future 2 we are actually talking about. But I do think Back to the Future 2, like from the first one, it sets up the foundation for the next 2. So Back to the Future 2, I do agree that of course the hoverboard, the CGI just looked awful in its time. But again, what Josh said about not liking number 3, I can see it, but it does make you feel a little bit on edge by being stuck in the Wild West. But okay, so Back to the Future 2. But I suppose Jurassic Park gets the vote here. Jurassic Park gets the vote here.
Yippee!
So Jurassic Park goes through, but again,
that's twice I've sided with you and lost the vote.
Stop siding
But here,
with Pat.
but here, look.
This is fucking.
Yeah, but look on the bright side. I have no issue with Jurassic Park going through because it is actually classic.
I'm
so
the
I
same.
do.
It's a really
I have no
good
issues
movie.
with it. Like it is.
Like we'd all love to be killed by the
fantastic movie.
dinosaurs. Probably why they were extinct.
No, I wouldn't agree with that. Would not like to be killed by a dinosaur.
I'd
Thank you,
like to
Matt.
see one in person.
I just
Which, in other words, you'll get killed by one. But anyway,
Just quickly before we move on to the next one, I think one of the biggest reasons why I do like Jurassic Park as a whole, and also it comes from the book it's based on, and it's not really in the subtext of the movie, but it is meant to be like, the moral of the movie is that humans shouldn't, mess with nature and the way that things are.
Yeah.
And
or
it's-
time travel.
yeah, that's true. And it has big grounds in, anti-capitalism and stuff like that. And, John Hammond is very much just big capitalist man putting, money over his workers.
Indeed.
In paying unfair things and,
Yeah.
making dangerous that is the point of the film and of the book. And I just
Which
think
is it's continued in Jurassic World
It
as well
is,
with the
yeah.
whole Indominus Rex that they shouldn't bring
the,
dinosaurs back, as well as they shouldn't mess with it so much because then
Yeah.
And then
you
when
know?
they bring the soldiers into it and they
Yes.
try to
Yeah.
use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
But yeah,
it's good.
But yeah,
good point.
Right, now our other 2 movies are Finding Nemo and Finding Dory.
bit of a change. And
Going for a little Disney here. Pixar? Disney?
It's a
Pixar. Pixar.
It's a
Yes,
different
Pixar.
tone here, yeah.
Well, it's Disney
Pixar, you
Pixar.
noob.
Well,
Yeah.
it's owned by the same
Yeah.
same thing.
Technically, you have the first and the second one.
By
They're
the
both the
entire
movies,
Yeah.
planet.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty obvious
Does-
choice in my opinion, but
I'm
again,
not-
that's not me speaking. So
Yeah.
I'm not too I don't know much about Finding Dory. Is Nemo and Marlin involved in the movie?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Nemo
So-
isn't.
They
in
are.
it
Both
as
of them are in the
much,
movie.
but
Yes,
they're-
they
yeah.
they try and track down Dory because Dory goes missing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But it's mostly just about Dory and her
Yeah.
family life, is it
She's
not?
trying to find her parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first 2 are more like secondary side
I
characters.
only
Yeah.
remember her in the truck with the octopus.
Yes.
I only
Oh,
remember her
yeah.
dad
That
having
was
a
a funny
really
bit.
her
That was a
dad
funny
had a
part.
really bad hairline.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why are they trying to put a
Yeah.
bad airline on a fish?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
This makes no sense. But it goes to show, even if you're a fish, your hairline's not safe.
That's
Yeah.
true.
You
Even
would
if-
know.
Yeah.
Hey, you leave my hair out of this.
Take it away, Anya.
I have to go with Finding Nemo for me
Yeah.
because of shark bait.
Hoo ha ha.
Yes. Because the one thing that stuck out to me was fish are friends, not food. And it's just a really funny thing. And it's not until like they get the smell of like fish blood basically.
Yeah.
When was it Dory's nosebleeds or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mask
Yeah.
gets hit in the face.
And
it's
everything goes out the window.
Mm.
From it's just very funny to me. And Finding Dory is alright, but like it came out like how many years was it after Finding Nemo?
It was a good few
It was
years.
20.
wasn't
It was
it?
2016, I think.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
2017, 2016.
And Finding Nemo came out in 2003, I'm fairly sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
It's a good
13 years.
13
I mean,
years
we
is a
did find
while.
out like more about Dory,
Yeah.
but at the same time,
Did we need to know more about Dory?
Did we need to know?
That's,
Did we need Ellen DeGeneres to
get her own movie.
Yeah. No, we did not.
No, Maybe a documentary about what she's done, but you know.
Yeah.
Wait, she got her own movie.
Ellen DeGeneres is Dory.
Oh, right. Wait, does she play Dory?
Yes.
Silly sausage.
Well, you learn something new every day.
You do.
I think that's made me
Josh.
hate the character now, but
Josh, who do you think should go next?
I don't think it's even a question. I think it's
No.
Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer for the rest of you, but I feel like it's going to be a clean sweep here. It's Finding Nemo is everyone's childhood. Like it's
Yeah.
such.
I just think of that one Simpson thing where like Milhouse can't watch the beginning because he gets traumatized because of the barracuda.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that sticks out as well.
Right.
Fun fact about that.
Oh,
Supposedly, that is it's just a theory, but Marlon actually hallucinated the barracuda. There was no barracuda. He ate his wife,
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that.
Oh yes.
ate all of his eggs,
Yeah.
and then kept Nemo. This is what like actual was it clownfish?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actual clownfish. He will reproduce with Nemo.
Yeah. Yeah.
this is a
that is
children's movie.
what that.
Can we not?
Can, yeah, can we not? That is the darkest theory I've ever heard. Jesus.
This is a children's movie.
Yeah, that's just that's if Finding Nemo was real,
Yeah.
he would have killed all of his kids,
Thanks, Josh.
ate his wife,
Thanks for ruining my
and
childhood.
reproduced with his son.
No, okay.
Finding Nemo too.
So Finding Nemo.
This is a children's movie. We're going to forget about that. It was a simple.
No, remember that.
animation.
I'm quite dark
don't
humid,
remember that
but
on a
even I'm
rewatch.
grossed out.
Don't forget that. That's
Right,
why it's my
right.
favorite movie.
Right.
Anyways,
Hello. Yeah, just please move on from this.
Nathan.
Again, as Josh said, it's not even a debate.
It definitely is. but
It's not, but 100%
You
it's
didn't even
Finding
know
Nemo.
Ellen DeGeneres has done her voice.
that
yeah.
has nothing to do with my opinion on the
That's
movie.
that's
a
the
big-
first point. The
Facts
fact
for
that
once
Ellen
does not have the
DeGeneres
facts.
has her
DeGeneres.
own
Yeah.
Movie.
Ellen DeGeneres.
is almost as bad as James
I
Corden
was about to
being
say.
Peter Rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's point one. Second of all, there's no need. There wasn't a need. Obviously, we got to learn more about Dory, which was nice, but there wasn't really a need for the Finding Dory movie necessarily. At the end of the day, it's what we said, like 13 years later.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. The people that watch Finding Nemo are adults, or they're older. You know what I mean? And again, Finding Nemo was part of people's childhood, so it's obviously the answer. So I'll give it to Mist.
Honestly, this one is really just like a clean sweep. I think PAX might have different opinions about it, but we'll see.
But that's just Pax.
But that's just PAX.
Thanks, guys.
We love you, buddy. I think it is very much just like an easy, because obviously original is always in the most part going to be better than the sequel, you know, and it is very very clear with this. Again, sorry PAX. But I just as a whole didn't really enjoy. It was an okay movie in my opinion, but it is one of those films where it's like, why was this made?
Yeah.
Like outside of money and nostalgia bait, it's like
That's all I can see it being produced for.
Yeah, there was no other
money.
reason
Like,
for
I
it.
don't see someone finishing Finding Nemo and being like, I wonder what happens next. Like it's not.
Specifically with Dory.
With Dory,
I wonder
right.
what Dory does.
So no one else here seeing that Finding Dory was being a thing and getting released, and no one was excited to go and watch that in the cinema. Only just me.
Yep, just
Yeah,
you.
good for you, man.
No,
no, but like
I
at the
was.
end-
I was, and it didn't live up to what I thought it would be.
Like,
No.
Because at the end
I
of
just felt like it
Nemo,
was so
kind
pretentious and
of
so
feel like
money grabbing.
everything was
It
resolved.
was wrapped
Yeah.
up.
It was
it-
wrapped up. That was it.
I-
Because they're back. The school is fine.
Yeah.
Everything was great. Like it
Like,
was
exactly,
fairy
yeah.
tale
Exactly.
ending,
That's
happy
it.
ending.
No more like there's like the story ends there. You don't really need
Yeah.
to continue it.
Like, not once did I think at the end of Finding Nemo, I was like, I wonder what Dory is going to do.
I wonder what happened to Dory's parents that are never mentioned.
Yeah,
in
and
the
her
film.
dad with a terrible hairline.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened to him.
I was more curious about the Shark Bait Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did Dory get her bad
Where-
hairline from?
Yeah.
That's why I always wondered.
From
Yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres.
From Ellen DeGeneres. But yeah, you know, like I just again, obvious. Like I personally, I think it was an okay movie. Like it wasn't unwatchable.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. You know, again, same director as the original
Yeah.
Finding Nemo. And it was genuinely really good as a movie, but as a sequel, it is just
not.
It just seems like a
do-
cash grab.
It is definitely a cash grab. So
Yeah.
the obvious answer, and I've dragged this out way longer than I needed to. Obvious answer would be I would choose Finding Nemo over Finding Dory.
Well, there's not really much to say because Finding Nemo has clearly won this, but
Don't ruin the
I
By
think
landslide.
Don't ruin the.
I'm
clean
going to
sweep.
ruin the clean sweep.
Don't don't try to be different.
I always say all the time that sequels are very hard to beat the originals, but I definitely think in this scenario the sequel's better. I think Finding Dory's.
What? Excuse me.
I just got attacked there, but no, I think
Verbally,
Finding
not
Dory.
physically, don't worry.
Finding
This is
Dory.
where the punches that Josh was talking about are going to land.
I was
No,
the
that-
one giving them.
Yeah.
No, Finding Dory I think is more funny and goes more depth into Dory as a character.
You think Ellen DeGeneres is
Who?
funny?
Okay, let me Pax. Let me ask you a question. Who cares about Dory?
I do. She's funny.
No, she's not.
She
she's
is.
not.
She forgets like me. I relate to that character.
She
She
has a-
forgets
Okay.
very easily.
Watch the Ellen DeGeneres show then, Pax.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
Let's give Ellen DeGeneres short-term memory loss and give her a full
And make her a
movie.
fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Make her a fish.
Yeah.
With
With a
bad
dad
hair-
with a terrible
no, sure, it
hairline.
has bad hairline
Oh, she
anyway.
does.
Yeah.
Still mind blown she played Dory, but
The,
anyway, let's keep
the
going.
little, not little, because she did have a big part to play in Finding Nemo. But that part to play she had in Finding Nemo was perfect.
Yeah, that's
She did not
It's the
need
right
It's-
balance.
her own movie.
It's like it's the same thing as like. Sorry, Josh.
No,
but,
sorry, go ahead.
It's the same thing of like imagining, say, I don't know, an example like Cars.
yeah,
Being like, oh, we're gonna give Mater an entire movie to himself.
yeah,
And then we have Cars 2.
yeah.
And Cars 2
Oh,
existed.
watch what you say
Don't.
here,
Cars
miss.
2 was a
Watch
movie.
what
Cars
you say.
2
Cars 2
is
is one of the
the
greatest.
best movie.
I'm
Yes.
going to say something. Do you know the fish in the fish tank in the dentist, which were with Nemo,
Yeah,
and they got out eventually?
Yeah.
yeah,
I would have expected that to be the next movie. What happened to them?
yeah.
I would
They're
have
in the
preferred a
plastic-
backstory on them.
Or
Yeah.
we,
Yeah.
or we, do you know those like shorts that they do on
Yeah,
Disney?
yeah.
One of
Yeah.
I
those
think
would
they
be
do have
perfectly
a
fine.
shorts of them
Oh, I think
escaping
th-
from the tank.
They do, I think.
Do they?
Yeah. Or
At the end of the movie, they definitely have them in the.
The
the
plastic
virus
bags
they're like-
in the
is-
sea.
they're like,
But the thing is,
now what?
do
And
they
then
survive? Do they get out, or are they just stuck constantly?
I think.
Honestly speaking, I would have rathered a sequel for Crush and the Turtles.
Yeah.
That would have
Yeah.
been more interesting than
Little
Finding
dude.
Dory.
Little dude.
Like
Squirt.
anything,
about
anyone
opinions.
other than Dory would have been a good sequel for Finding Nemo. But
Sure, let's give a side character their own movie. Sure.
Let's not give this for HBO any more
Yeah,
time.
let's,
we've agreed it's Finding Nemo.
yeah, let's already Finding Nemo, so let's just move on.
Right. So next up we have Incredibles or Up. Two Pixar movies that honestly, again, holds very big spot in a lot of people's childhoods and
Definitely.
nostalgia. Obviously can't speak for everyone here, but I think like most people would have
yeah,
so this is honestly really difficult because I think out of these two films, in like the prime of Pixar,
Yeah.
back when they're writing and they're directing and their scores were just extremely emotional,
yeah,
extremely just raw and just really, honestly, just amazing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there's no
definitely.
other words to describe it. It is really difficult to make a choice between the two. I think Up, I think, has the better score,
yeah,
personally.
yeah.
But I would probably end up saying The Incredibles.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Mainly just because of the overall plot and the humor and Syndrome as a character. I love Syndrome as a character. Like,
Yeah.
a fanboy turned into like a angry like would-be Reddit user. That's yeah. So I would choose Incredibles. Again, it is a bit.
So you turn into Pax.
You turned to Pax. Sorry, Pax. I saw. Yeah. But yeah, no,
Sorry, it
Okay.
was too easy.
It was, but yeah, very I like, again, not to say that one's better than the other. It is just like a slight difference in ranking, but I definitely say The Incredibles I would put above
Yeah?
Up.
100%.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna pass it over to Anya now.
Woo. I'm not a fan of the Incredibles.
What?
Whoa,
To me,
whoa.
it was kind of like, family living with superpowers, stuff like that. I mean, it did create a lot of things, like more franchises for different things like that, like a family with a secret, trying to get used to it. Like, look at the Thundermans on, what was it, Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to say Up for the pure reason it reminds me of like my grandparents. I am very close with my grandparents on both sides of my family, and I'm lucky to have both my grandparents and a great grandmother.
Mhm.
And Up, it's this grumpy old man, but when you find out he falls in love, loses her to an illness, and he's trying to basically do her last wish in memory of her.
Yeah.
And along the way, this Boy Scout comes along trying to
Russell.
get his badge, and it kind of develops into like a grandfather grandson relationship, and
Yeah.
he kind of realizes he has to have that moment. He's not alone anymore, and there are people out there, and it's even with like COVID, a lot of elderly people got isolated,
Yeah.
and people that don't have family. So it was kind of heartwarming movie to me. So I have to go Up for the pure reason, the plot, the story,
Yeah.
and I just love the score.
Yeah,
It's
it is a
amazing.
fantastic score.
It's a movie that did make me kind of want to cry.
Yeah.
Josh.
This is probably the hardest one for me on it to choose between, just because they're both peak Pixar.
Yeah.
They are like
Definitely.
these are I think top two for me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's very.
I don't like everyone's changes, but for me these are top two. And like the story for both, I cannot pick between.
Yeah.
They're two completely different stories, but I think they both I connect with them both so much.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
But as Ollie said, the score for Up
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And the emotional, like how it pulls your emotional strings.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Right.
And I think I'm gonna have to go with Up. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Pax, have you anything to say about?
My vote again. It's very tough because the two of them. Again, I'd agree with you there. They're both peak Pixar, but I do. But my vote does go towards The Incredibles, because again, probably as a kid watching it, I believe it came out in 2004. So like as a kid. Probably showing my age there, but
You had a wife and kids.
I've always wanted the powers of the Incredibles, and again, I do think it has a cool ending. So,
Which
again,
Incredible specifically?
number one, number two sucked. If I ever
No,
have,
which
if I,
Incredible?
oh,
which,
it's Incredible. So you need to be
which
specific.
power?
You can't say them things. You need to be
which power would you like?
Honestly, if I'm actually pure honest, I do like the thought of super speed, but I actually like Violet's powers too. I like the power of invisibility.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which I really like
And
that.
the shields and
as
stuff.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool scene whenever like she protects the family with the shield. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Wouldn't Elastigirl basically be Plastic Man from DC Comics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she would be indestructible.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But,
I
yeah,
think that-
basically.
I think that's it, easily my number one anyway.
I'd go with Frozen.
And the
Yes.
Frozone.
He's
It's
just
your Iceman.
yeah, I'm Iceman, but like
Where
Wait,
is
wait.
my super suit?
yeah, honey, where is my super suit? But the way that it's specifically, I'm gonna get to this. I'm gonna let Pax finish. I'm gonna let Pax finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then when it comes to Up, again, it's sad about him losing his wife, and it really has a really good story. But then again, I grew up with The Incredibles, so The Incredibles for me is just like I could watch that 100 times and absolutely love it.
Yeah. So
You're the decision maker, Nathan.
I am the decision maker. I adore both movies, genuinely. I wouldn't say top. One of them is in my top two, and that is obviously the one I'm choosing.
Oh,
I have. Huh?
I'd hope so.
I like like Up. I don't even know where to start. It's such an emotionally. I have a great attachment to that movie as a whole. As um, just it's a fantastic movie about a lot. I'd say the main thing I took for it was mental health.
Right.
I feel like the main
Yeah.
takeout of that movie was mental health,
How
and it's
grief can affect
exactly,
mental health,
Yeah.
and it's a
Isolation.
fantastic, it's a beautiful display of one of the ways someone can handle that grief, you know. And I think the score is I truly believe that the Up score is the greatest movie score of all time,
Yeah.
and nothing will ever top that.
That piano section.
Oh
is
my
just-
God.
How to Train Your Dragon though?
But I will say
That is.
Incredibles is my second favorite Pixar movie
You
for many,
I can't touch
many reasons.
That's fair.
I absolutely adore that movie. It is. There is not a single flaw in that movie that I can think of. It's same with Up. There's no flaws in either of those movies. I'm not trying to downplay Up's greatness because it is
yeah.
a one of a kind movie.
Right.
You can't
But-
be mad at whatever way you leave.
No,
it,
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
of how fantastic.
Yeah.
it
I
is,
do
yeah.
think at least there is one Up movie, whereas Incredibles made a second one, and it was
Yeah.
horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah.
movie.
But I wouldn't let that
It
reflect
was
on how
good,
good
like-
the first one is.
Aren't they trying to make another one?
They are, but
They are.
we
Yeah,
don't talk about that.
No.
No, Disney.
We don't talk about Bruno.
They're
we
dragging
don't
it
talk
out.
about Disney.
So Encanto's next. So
No.
But no, so yeah, Incredibles definitely. And again, as I was gonna say earlier, Frozone. The fact that he is a complete side character,
Yeah.
yeah.
and he is such a well fleshed out,
Right.
Where's my super suit?
amazing design. The
Oh, yeah.
way that he doesn't just.
And does anyone else think it's very badass how he enters the scene? At
That's
the
what I'm
end?
saying. He
Yeah.
doesn't just use his like the way he like skates on the water is so cool, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the fact that the moisture in the air has to be a thing.
His best part is in when they're
Where they have they're in the bank or
in the
whatever
bank.
it is. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and he's like, and he's taking.
Yeah, I just want
I
like
just
a
want
glass of a cup of
a cup of
water.
water.
Yeah.
You've had your
And he's
drink.
like, and he's,
He's
just
like
freeze.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the
So.
bullets
Oh
coming
yeah.
out. and he
Oh,
freezes the
that
bullet
movie
back.
is so good. That movie is so good.
Just the scene of him fighting with his wife over where the super suit was.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like her dinner.
He is definitely one of those characters where it is like, you know, despite having such a little screen time, he really does just.
Yeah, and he gets
he
more in the
leaves an
second
impact.
movie.
He does, yeah. But the
Yeah.
impact is made with him.
Oh, 100%. All right.
Next two movies we have up are two movies from the Cornetto trilogy. We have Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
Both feature Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Very good actors together, by the way.
Yep.
Amazing actors together.
Yeah.
And Hot Fuzz is my favourite movie of all time.
Really?
Is
It is my
Of all time.
of all time.
Damn.
Of all time.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Shaun of the Dead. It's one of the best movies I've ever watched. Just because of how like it's just the choreography
Yeah.
and like the different shots
Yeah.
that they use. Like that's so funny. And then like in the opening scene where he's walking to the shop to get a Coke and a Pepsi
Yeah.
and a Cornetto,
Yeah.
and then they do that shot again, but it's when the city is in like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
after
yeah,
the
in
world is
ruins,
on.
yeah.
So it's that them two shots alone make Shaun of the Dead an amazing movie.
Yeah.
But Hot Fuzz just has my heart completely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nicholas Angel is a goat
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
He is a goat character. How he rides into town on that horse with all the guns strapped to him.
Look at him on that
Look,
horse.
I don't think I have to explain why Hot Fuzz is such a good movie.
Yep.
No, you don't.
Like, it has my heart completely. It's my
Yeah.
favorite movie, and yeah, Hot Fuzz is my favorite movie. Anya, do you have any thoughts?
Unfortunately, I haven't seen most of the movies yet, but they are on my to watch list, don't worry. But I've seen bits of Hot Fuzz. Was that the one
We
where
did in. Was it in? When did
was
we
it
watch?
the
No,
like his the, your man man's shed was full of guns.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
Hot
yeah.
Fuzz.
Yeah.
that's the one thing that
And he
stands
needs a
out to me.
translator.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
suppose.
It has to go through technically two people
Yeah.
for him to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for that, because I've been in many places where I don't understand languages, or and they're all
Even in
Irish
some,
accents.
even in parts of
They're all
Ireland,
Irish
it's just
accents. I can't understand the Cork accent. Sorry.
Cork City, mate.
I can't. So
Kind of a lot
I
of people
think-
offended by that one.
Yeah.
I
Good job,
think
Nathan.
from what Josh has said, I probably will have to go with Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
And don't give me that look.
Well, I'm not. Hey, I'm just gonna cut in here.
Let's don't
I'm
vote
not.
by himself. Let's go.
I'm not gonna doubt either of them. I love both of them, but to be honest, because I'm a big fan of like the zombie genre, I'm going with Shaun of the Dead. Plus, whenever they're like, don't make a single sound, and then you literally just see the like gambling machine just make a lot of noise. I just thought that was such a funny part of the movie. So I just think Shaun of the Dead's like very funny. But take nothing from Hot Fuzz. I think it's very funny. But again,
Hello,
Shaun the
Nicholas.
Dead
How's
gets
the hand?
Shaun the Dead gets my vote.
wow. Okay, right. This is a really tough one. As Josh said, honestly, both films are incredible. And the way that they're both stylized is just like you rarely see films like it. And as Pac said, God, I hold both really close to me because they're both really, really good. Just the originality with Shaun of the Dead, how it is a zombie apocalypse, but it's so nonchalant and it's just such a I love it so much. I genuinely don't have the words to describe it. Hot Fuzz, on the other hand, I do have a lot to say about, but I will keep it brief. The way it's stylized in the editing and the transitions and stuff is just really, really cool. I love how the entire thing is stylized. The humor, one of my favorite out of all the Cornetto films. As Josh said, Nicholas Angel as a character is just like
He's such a goat.
he is. Yeah.
I would say he's on equal aura with Frozone.
Yeah. I'd say
I
Yeah.
wouldn't put him up there.
like it's such like every Cornetto film is highly quotable, but like me and my friends quote Hot Fuzz like constantly, and I feel like every scene has like, an amazing quote in it. There's not a single scene in Hot Fuzz that is bad. So honestly, like Shaun of the Dead is good, but I do think Hot Fuzz is not better, but I would prefer it.
Yeah.
And it is one of my favorite movies in general. So I'd say Hot Fuzz over Shaun of the Dead. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, and lastly, me. As Josh and Miss said, Hot Fuzz is. No.
Audio listeners, Pax's
Pax
tummy
just
just
farted.
crumbled. Oh,
Pax too.
Okay. So as I was saying, as Josh and Miss said, Hot Fuzz is maybe one of the best films I've ever watched in my life, and it is also my favorite out of the Cornetto trilogy.
very fair. Yeah.
Although,
Oh no.
Oh.
in terms of this is going to be really hard for me to say,
Get your pitchforks ready, Josh.
but obviously I know it's more, but Hot Fuzz in term is kind of just like a comedy action, okay?
Yeah.
Which is a very, I'll say, overdone genre. Hot Fuzz does it,
At the time, not so
Yeah,
much.
at the time,
but
not so much,
now,
definitely.
Yes, there is a lot of that genre.
but it is a very, and it's, I will say it's easy enough to do. It's very easy to mess up, but it's easy enough to make a good one. Hot Fuzz is the top of the top.
Yeah.
A horror comedy is hard to do. It is a hard thing to do.
The only thing
And
I can take in comparison to like horror comedy would be
Scary
scary
movies, yeah.
And you see how ridiculous they are.
Yeah.
Like this.
Exactly,
It's
like-
actually like half serious.
But
movie.
Shaun of the Dead, I will have to say, just personally, because it's hilarious. It's the best horror comedy movie. It's also heart wrenching. Like I remember laughing and crying at that movie. Like the scene of Sean crying to his mother's death is it's horrible.
It is.
But yeah, I'll have to give it to Shaun of the Dead.
That's 3-2. So Hot Fuzz goes through on that one.
So, next two movies that I know, and I'll be leaving after giving my opinion due to the fact that I don't know the other two movies, so I won't have an opinion on those two. But the next two movies are Infinity War and Endgame. To me, I have to give it to Endgame because Marvel movies started with Iron Man and the whole thing ended with Iron Man.
Yeah.
I mean, it did get
And-
crap after that, so.
Yeah. But
At least
the
you can admit
fact that
Yeah.
he took it upon himself and he knew he wouldn't survive.
Yeah.
But the one thing that made me sob crying was Peter, we did it, Mr. Stark. And him being like, oh, like wanting him to wake up.
I think
and
I think you knew where it was going then.
Yeah.
kind of, and it was kind of heart wrenching, and just Black Widow sacrificing herself because Clint had a family.
Yeah.
Thor, the way he turned out after,
Infinity War.
like yeah, was just.
Stupid in my opinion, but it was
It
funny.
was kind of funny because he's the god. He's
It was
the,
religiously accurate.
No, he was the
Playing
god. He
Fortnite.
he's like has to be, perfect. And now here he is, beer belly,
Playing
hair,
Fortnite, yeah.
like going against what probably is a child.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that is very.
the way the end,
Pax
and the one
core.
scene that I love is just like all the the female heroes and just Peter holding the gauntlet
Yeah.
and just them standing over him to protect him, because it's kind of a thing, like, it's not really they're not really given as much time.
Yeah.
But I do kind of wish Black Widow was there in that moment.
Yeah.
But the whole scene as well when they're going up against Thanos for the second and final time, and just like even with Captain America getting the Thor's hammer,
Yeah.
it was everything to me. So I have to go with Endgame.
Fair enough.
Okay. Okay, so between Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame, I do think that is probably the most hardest one of the bunch. Being a big Marvel man, I feel like it's quite hard because both of them are like top notch, like probably the two top Marvel movies you can watch nearly.
He meant to say Little Marvel Man.
The hell with you, Josh?
Oh.
Okay, so if I was to make a couple of points, Avengers Infinity War, I suppose that cool fight scene at Wakanda, I suppose that was like really cool, and those
The cool fight scene was really cool.
That's really cool.
and of course some really good writing, some good fight scenes, and I feel like as well though the thing with Infinity War is it sets up Endgame, so you're kind of setting one up for the final one. So
Yeah.
it's really that choice between, do you go for the one that sets it up, or do you go for the one where it ends completely?
Yeah.
Like whatever one beats out the other one. And the thing is about Infinity War as well is that I think it's one of the first movies, not completely, but I think it's one of the first movies, especially in heroes, superheroes, in that genre, that the villain actually wins. So Thanos actually wins, which I think is a big thing for the superhero genre and cinema. So I think that is really what would string you towards Infinity War. But again, for Endgame, then obviously it's setting up Iron Man's death, and then obviously the end of the line for Captain America, which obviously a big fan favorite there. And again, you got the pretty badass fight scene at the end, especially that whole like Avengers Assemble thing. Absolutely badass. And then when Captain America catches Mjolnir, it's just absolutely like fantastic. We think to Nathan there, he likes to say fantastic a lot. So yeah, and then obviously you have the 1 year between each one, which I suppose if you're at the time you watch Infinity War, you have to wait a whole year to find out what happens. But I think overall, I did like the fight scene in Infinity War better. in a sense, but I think Endgame had a better story to it, and it was a better ending. It was a good write-off as well with Iron Man's sacrifice and going down that road.
So you're giving it to Endgame.
So I'm gonna give it to Endgame.
Damn.
It edges just about, but has to be Endgame.
I don't remember any of those scenes in,
don't
in
either.
Endgame.
Don't want Endgame. You watch Pax, but yeah.
Edge game.
Edge game.
Edge Avengers, Edge
The
Game.
Edge Avengers.
Who you giving it to?
I'm gonna give it to Endgame, and then I'm gonna pass it on to Nathan.
Okay. Well, I'm a big DC fan, obviously. DC is my favorite. Batman is my favorite thing ever. You know, nothing could ever top the greatness of Bruce Wayne.
Well, I think you're wrong on that one, but anyway.
Well, that's your opinion. But everything up until Endgame and Marvel, I've watched a million times over, and especially Infinity War and Endgame. Those two movies are so perfect. If Marvel was to end after Endgame, it would be the perfect franchise. You know, it all adds up to that climax. That climax, and it is the last Endgame and Infinity War are two. I would say they're perfect superhero movies.
In other words, it's hard to decide.
There's so many. It is very hard to decide. There's so many great things about the two of the movies. It's just Infinity War tips me over a little bit. I don't know what it is. I think it was. I just remember the first time seeing it in the cinema, and every single thing was like, I don't even know. It was like, because I saw it on release day, it felt like so, I don't want to say magical, but it felt like, it was like, I'll never forget that experience. Like when Captain America caught the spear. Oh, there's so many like cool scenes. I remember almost, I didn't cry, almost crying at Spider-Man's when he gets snapped. I feel like Endgame is more of an Avengers movie, and Infinity War just feels like more of a whole like Marvel. You know what I mean? I feel like Endgame focuses more on the Avengers and the ones that are left, well, obviously, but Infinity War just feels like more of like a big, like that big collaboration of all the people together. Obviously, there's the whole scene at the end of Endgame where they're all fighting, but you don't really see much of it. You see like clips of people fighting or little 30-second things of everyone fighting together, but like it's not the same as Infinity War, so I'll have to give it to Infinity War.
And just before we move on to Josh, the point I forgot to make is also what strung me towards Endgame is Infinity War, all the heroes are mashed up in different places,
Yeah.
but then Endgame's bringing them together, so I'm going with, that's why I went for Endgame.
To pick up on where Nathan left it, both movies are perfect in their own right. I would, for me, the perfect end to a movie or to a franchise is what makes the movies great. The perfect ending is what I look for, and I think Endgame is just the perfect ending. So I'm going to lean towards Endgame.
Okay, again, two not bad. Two of them are not bad choices, so there's no argument here.
Well, thank you for leaving me with a lot of original topics to talk about that haven't been talked about yet. I've so much original opinions that haven't been said yet. Honestly though, what can be said that hasn't already been said? Obviously both movies are incredible. I'm really not a big fan of modern Marvel, especially after Endgame. Aside from a few specific ones, depending on who the director is, like maybe Guardians of the Galaxy 3. You know,
That's just
stuff
that's
like
just
that. That's James.
Gunn,
Yeah. I don't know. In my personal opinion, I think that
You are allowed to go down the middle though,
I can go down the middle.
so it means you don't make a choice, but
But I
again,
think-
still ends 2-1 then.
I think I would. I think I will make a choice though. I do have one specific. I think Infinity War has a bit more of a feeling of suspense than Endgame.
Yeah.
Because Endgame is the recovery of the first half. It's trying to prevent what happened.
Yeah.
You know what happened, and there's only one way that really it can end.
Yeah.
Since you know that is going to be the last one. I just feel like Infinity War had more suspense. It had more kind of a on the edge kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it. It was definitely like I watched it on opening night in the cinema too, and it was. I mean, both were amazing, but I definitely think Infinity War was more suspenseful. So I will say maybe Infinity War for the suspense part, but Endgame is. Pax is really
Cracking up here.
He's
holding
he's
it in.
seething. He's
Yeah.
seething.
It's just because if it's you're going Endgame.
I'm going Infinity War.
Oh, we're tied here on this
No,
one.
we're not. It's because Anya
gave.
for
Anya
Endgame.
as well. Anya. So
Endgame.
Endgame.
Yeah, but Anya's not here anymore. But the vote still
She's not
counts.
dead.
So
We lost them.
Yeah.
yeah. So Anya decided to leave just before this last one, Jaws or Alien. Wouldn't be down her alley, so we're gonna finish this off with Jaws or Aliens. So just real quickly, just put this podcast to an end. For Jaws, I thought it was realistic and
Whoa. This podcast is not coming to an end. We still have to
We have to do the rest of
do the
the
next rounds.
until we get the final movie.
well, that's been a mess.
It's alright, keep it going.
Keep it going. He's an old man. He's an old man.
He's getting up there.
Yeah, apologies. It's the old man kicking in, 25, and what I was saying was Jaws, it was realistic and scary for its time when it came out in 1975, and it got high
Sure, you
ratings.
watched it in cinemas, didn't you, when it came out?
Very funny. Very funny.
He was
Yeah, I
on
actually-
set when they
Yeah, I starred in the movie. Yeah, I was the
He
shark.
actually played yeah.
I was the robotic shark.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it is realistic, as I said, because obviously a shark and it's killing people in the water, and obviously, let's be real, sharks aren't that friendly. And then you have Alien. I thought it was good, but not as iconic or memorable as Jaws.
Whoa, that is a insane take. That may be the craziest thing you've ever said in your life.
Not that I don't like Alien, I just think that it's not as iconic or memorable.
That's
so
insane.
I think Jaws is quite memorable, and immediately, again, a shark killing people. I feel like it's quite realistic and memorable.
I'd agree with you that Jaws is the better movie, but to say it's not, that Aliens isn't iconic is very rogue thing to say.
It's not even just a rogue thing. It's a wrong thing. It's not even
it's a wrong thing to say. To
not
Alien.
even opinionated. That is just a bad take.
Yeah.
I would say, again, I'm being biased because of nostalgia reasons, that Jaws is the better movie for me. Just because, you think about how much of a fear of war that Jaws caused on so many people.
Yeah, it's not like people feared space, you know what I mean?
Well, they probably have.
Well, they do,
But not just for aliens didn't cause a fear of space. for
Yeah,
people.
fair enough.
Jaws caused so many. My father is traumatized of the ocean because of Jaws. It's so for so many people during that time period, it caused so much fear for the ocean.
Yeah.
I think Jaws is just a lot more influential, not what you said, Pax. It's more influential than Alien.
Well, I'll be different here. I'd have to give it to Alien.
I wouldn't be mad about it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Again, it is probably a thing of nostalgia
Yeah.
because that was one of the first movies I remember watching when I became conscious. At 4 years of age, I remember watching Alien. Scared the fucking ever living shit out of me. Especially the scene with the where he's the alien's hiding in the storage area kind of thing, and it's freaky. But Again, I love Jaws. I love both movies. Just I don't know what it is about Alien that kind of just it reels me in more.
If we had more time in podcasts, I'd love to discuss like what's a more iconic scene, the chest buster scene, or Jaws attacking the boat.
Yeah,
I'd love to have that debate, but obviously we're stuck for time.
We are stuck for time.
That is actually
we'll save
very
that
good.
for
Yeah,
another podcast.
that's actually very good. Very good.
See, God, this one is especially difficult. It kind of goes back to the point I had with Jurassic Park, where obviously both films have so much really, really nice practical effects and just effects in general, and the settings in both films are honestly just really, I think they hold up really, really well. Jaws maybe not as much, to be fair. That shark went through the motions, or motions might not be the right word considering it didn't really have motions, but
Ocean therapy.
ocean therapy.
Motion of the ocean.
Motion of the ocean, yeah. God, I don't know. I think like plot wise, I would go. I think I definitely prefer the story of Alien.
Yeah.
Just because I do find it more. I feel like it reels you in more. It's more of a. The thing I don't get with what you said, Pax, about how you said that obviously both movies are iconic, but just the idea that you think the shark is more iconic than the alien.
I mean, I do think of the chestbuster scene whenever I do think of Alien. That's the only thing I think of though.
But no, obviously both movies are amazing. But I think Alien definitely has like the edge on the story side of things. Not to say that Jaws doesn't have a good plot. It is just more like, and the way that Alien expands on like the biology of the creatures. I just think it's.
Pax is saying we're scissoring right now.
No, why did you?
All I've seen was the emotion in the scissor.
Pax is scissoring.
And my fly is unzipped.
But yeah, no,
Under the table.
Under the table, over the table. Yeah, I would say Alien. I would prefer Alien story-wise, but Jaws is still like.
So
we're
it's a
dead
tie
now.
then.
That makes us tied.
So do we just fight to the death?
Yeah, I think so.
Message on you.
Actually.
Anya.
Hold on. I'm gonna message as many people as I can find.
Right, so we'll go on through the brackets until we can find the decision.
So we will come back to that one, but in terms of starting on the first bracket, it is Shawshank Redemption and The Dark Knight.
Ooh.
And if I'm honest, can I start this one? But if I'm honest,
No, you can't start this one,
Yeah,
Pax.
actually,
Let
you're
me
allowed-
start this
allowed.
one.
You are last. On this.
I was actually going to give a good opinion on that, but that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead.
I'm gonna make this quick and easy. Shawshank Redemption, fantastic movie. But The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger is all I'm gonna say.
Honestly, that is like, yeah.
Fuck. Anya said Jaws.
No.
Jaws is the winner.
Oh.
Okay, and I'm going to go off Nathan's point here. I'm going to go with The Dark Knight because, again, I prefer superhero movies as opposed to a movie in a prison. But that's not taking anything away from Shawshank Redemption. I thought it was iconic, so I'm going with Dark Knight.
As Pax just said, obviously, Shawshank Redemption is a fucking brilliant movie. I love it. But Dark Knight is better, not just because of the fact that I do prefer that kind of, that the theming and genre that it is, but Heath Ledger as the Joker is so good. I can't. It's just, he's perfect. He's amazing.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue against the majority. The Dark Knight is the better movie in this. I know you're putting that through also.
Right now it's Finding Nemo and Jurassic Park.
What a
Two very similar movies. Two very similar movies.
Yeah.
Am I wrong in saying we're all just going to agree on Jurassic Park here?
You are wrong.
Well, actually, do you know
Is he
what?
wrong?
I'm sending Finding Nemo through.
I'd agree.
Yeah, no, actually, I agree. I'm sending Finding Nemo true as well.
Yeah, no,
Is this a 3 against 1?
No, let's go find Nemo. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, not even just for the fact that it's like, because again, I
This
don't
would
know,
be an interesting.
it is very good.
Dark
It's
Knight
just
against
like,
Finding Nemo.
yeah.
Dark Knight versus Finding Nemo.
Heath Ledger playing Dory, that would be like.
Oh, that would be so much better than Ellen DeGeneres.
I know.
There's some issue with Ellen
DeGeneres.
DeGeneres in this thing, but anyway.
Next up, we have Incredibles against Hot Fuzz.
Incredibles.
Hot Fuzz.
Incredibles.
I think Hot Fuzz. See, Incredibles is iconic, but Hot Fuzz is funny, and you love a bit of comedy, so I'm going with Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Alright,
Sorry,
I'm-
Nathan.
Easiest fight. This
I'm
one's-
the lone
it's
wolf
gonna
here.
win it.
The
Hot
score,
Fuzz is
though.
gonna win it.
Live
No, it's
action
not.
over
It
live
will.
action over animation
Yeah.
all day.
Well, no, I wouldn't agree with that now, Pact. That's.
Well, we'll just.
Yeah.
I wouldn't agree with that one, but
Jaws and Endgame. Again.
Ooh.
I'm going with Endgame.
I
I'm a
think
big Marvel
that's-
fan, so
I think that's a pretty like cut and dry. I think it's.
I feel like there's so much more to Endgame.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it has
it
to
is.
be
Way much,
Endgame.
yeah.
This, like,
and
I
it
don't
has so
think
much
there is a
like
debate.
weight to it as well.
Yeah.
It's I think.
Like, I'd say on like how influential it is, I'd say Endgame is just as influential
Yeah,
as Jaws.
yeah,
was.
100%.
So we're gonna put Endgame through. Yes.
Endgame.
Endgame.
Edge game.
Edge game.
Edge goo.
Why?
What? Edge goo.
Edge
Um,
goo.
Edge goo. Oh.
Okay.
I said edge goo. Oh,
Now
no.
we've got.
The Dark Knight.
And
Finding
Finding
Nemo.
Nemo.
I feel like this is an easy one. It is Finding Nemo.
I think it is.
Dark Knight has made it way too far. A great performance by Heath Ledger. An okay movie, but it has made it way too far in this list.
Again, I don't stand
And
If
for
we
I'm
had-
saying that as a
I think
Batman
if
fan.
we had allowed Spider-Man 2 to get through, there would have been a debate here. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to offer some sort of like I'm sure we all would to offer some sort of like like food for thought for it, but I think it is a pretty cut and dry like
yeah, I think it has to be Finding
Finding
Nemo.
Nemo.
I think.
yeah.
Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
Sorry, Heath Ledger.
Sorry, Heath Ledger. Sorry, Alan
And
DeGeneres.
that's
Ellen
not a hate on
DeGeneres.
Batman.
Oh no, of course not. No. Ellen DeGeneres could be the new Batman villain. I feel like she would fit.
Just
in the
imagine
comics.
Nemo in a
She could
Batman
play like
She could be like
Joker, like the
Joker.
Riddler.
the Brit. I could see her playing Riddler.
Riddled.
The
Um,
Riddler.
In our second semi-final, we have
Hot Fuzz and
Hot Fuzz
Endgame.
and Endgame.
Ah shit.
I feel like this is gonna be a 2-2 split.
I think so too.
I'm
think so too.
I'm going with Endgame. I'm sticking
Of
by my
course you
guns
are,
here.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to stick with my favorite.
I'm
movie
going with
right now.
Endgame
I'm sticking
here
with
as
Hot
I have
Fuzz.
to go with Hot Fuzz.
Hold on.
Has Anya seen Hot Fuzz? I don't remember if
I
they.
don't,
Don't think she has,
Need
but
to-
she's seen
think-
Endgame,
I
so
need
she
to
may go for
I need to
Endgame.
message
Yeah,
them
I
quickly
think Hot
just to
Fuzz is gonna get knocked
maybe
out.
send them some.
Death threats.
I was gonna say money, but yeah, death
Oh.
threats works too. I'm sure.
What's the other semi-final?
We just done with the Dark Knight.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Here we
Hold
go,
on.
here we
No,
go.
no, 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 no.
Anya.
Fucking pick. Bleeping pick.
Anya.
We're gonna get barred off YouTube.
Yeah, we're stuck for time.
Pick. Pick. Pick.
Can we like make the censor noise
Hot Fuzz.
pack saying?
Yes.
Hot Fuzz goes through.
Make like the censor noise pack saying poop every time someone swears. It's just like
Passing poop.
poop. What?
Now,
Pack saying-
true
that's what you
to
said?
our
No, I said pack says poop every time someone swears.
Oh.
Yeah. it's just-
true to our final. I think this is gonna be a sweep in the final, but we'll
Who is it?
leave it to the floor. It is Hot Fuzz against Finding Nemo.
Nathan, you better.
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz.
Hot
Take it.
Fuzz.
Oh my god, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
We all gone with Hot Fuzz. Such a funny movie.
Is the winner.
We should watch Hot Fuzz to celebrate now. That's what
We
should.
should
And get
recreate
Cornettos.
Hot Fuzz.
We
should.
should recreate Hot Fuzz.
We
yes.
should. We should
I
go
would.
to Edgefield and we should arrest the entire town.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Okay, so that concludes this podcast. If you don't agree with anything you said or you agree, well then leave us
Then
a comment.
shut your mouth.
Don't listen to Nathan.
Your
Leave,
opinion, we don't care.
Your opinion doesn't matter.
your opinion matters. Leave us a comment. And don't forget to like and subscribe and follow the socials.
Yep.
And thank you. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for
Bye.
watching.
Bye.
Bye bye.